This episode of the Towing Life podcast is brought to you by BA Products. From innovative products such as the container link, tanker tube, frame hook, patented 8-point tie down, and more, BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. Reach out to one of our BA distributors today to see how we can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures.
We're not doing a pre-intro?
Oh yeah, the pre-intro.
Yeah, we're supposed to talk a bit, man.
Okay.
Come on, you forget about the pre-intro and you always forget about the YouTube side of things. You're slacking, man. You're just sitting there silently.
I wanted to see if you thought I froze. I cannot stay that still that long.
A buddy of mine owns a towing company, and one of his new drivers decided to drive the flatbed off a retaining wall today. Ripped out the hydraulic tank and bent up the drive shaft and ripped off the exhaust, and yeah, that was nice. Like 150 kilometers away from his home base too.
That's not what you want to do. My company sold the truck that I had my first date in with my wife. The truck I had my engagement in with my wife.
Yeah, I know who picked that up. He showed up there with a cube van.
Yeah, absolutely. That truck held some sentimental values. There was a lot of firsts in it. I won't go into details on how many, but there was a couple.
I know what you're talking about.
Hey everyone, I'm Brad from Calgary.
This is Sean from Cambridge, Ontario.
I'm Terry from Cornwall, Ontario.
Hey, this is Larry from Pitt Meadows, British Columbia, and you're listening to the Towing Life podcast.
I'm sexy and I tow it.
Welcome to the Towing Life podcast, where the ditches are deep, the trucks are lower, but the drivers are not. I'm your host, TowManG, and as usual, I am joined by my co-host, friend, and former co-worker, the man with very strong opinions, Mr. PlainGuy.
Those opinions are going to get much stronger, I guarantee you. What is going on, G? What is going on?
Just got in the door from work, actually. How about yourself?
It was kind of a short day today. A couple interviews, a couple new hires in the works, dealing with a couple things.
Nice.
We are still just as busy as ever. So anytime you can steal a little bit of time away from the industry, as I've told you before, it is good to do so. And I managed to do that today.
Nice. Good for you.
So I will not complain. It is a nice feeling. Before we get into anything, and we do have some good stuff on tap, as per popular request, somebody's back. If you have any subjects or questions you would like covered on the show, you can let us know. Best way to do it, as I've said before, visit us at the website, www.towinglife.ca. You can email us directly at thetowinglife@gmail.com or find us on Facebook at the Towing Life Podcast. You'll see the clips come out weekly. We're going to try and start doing a couple little polls. I want to know where you guys are listening from. I want to know what you're listening on right this minute now. If you are on the YouTube side, don't forget to hit the like while you drop a comment underneath. If you don't like it, hit the thumbs down twice. You need to do it twice for it to register. It is very important. And yeah, where are you listening? Head over to our Facebook page right now and drop a comment. Where are you listening on? Are you listening on the Apple? Are you listening on the Spotify? Where is it that you are tuning in? And thank you for tuning in. Be sure to reach out to us. Be sure to check it out. We always have good things coming. I know we've been working. We are creeping eerily close to that episode 52. We haven't made an announcement yet, and we're not going to do it now because we still got to talk. But eerily close to that episode 52, which will be the 1 year anniversary of the Towing Life podcast. I can't believe it. I cannot believe we have not, separated on opinion so far that we've been able to continue this show for up to a year. I'm happy to still have you here, G.
Thanks. I'm happy to be here. I kind of want to be a part of this, and feel needed.
Feel needed. You do a phenomenal job week in, week out. Stop hitting my buttons while I'm hitting my buttons.
You weren't hitting them. The ticker was never going.
The ticker was going away. We have, this is why we can't deal with this. We need to, this is why we need producer Sarah. So we will get to producer Sarah. She is here. We are going to play a fun little game for you guys. But before we do that, again, thank you guys for coming out. 1 year almost. 52 episodes. 52 episodes. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe the success we've had, the support we've had from all the wonderful people, all of our sponsors. You will find them from the time all on the website, towinglife.ca. Our wonderful sponsor we got rolling during these episodes, BA Products, as well. Always, we like to thank BA Products for their support. Yeah, so keep an eye on the Facebook page for an announcement. We are working on something. Obviously, with our crazy work schedules we've had, it's been tough to nail something down, but I promise you there is something special coming for the 1-year anniversary.
What do you think it's going to be? Leave your comments down below. Take your guesses.
Ooh, I think it's going to be PlainGuy calendar.
Oh, you just brought her in without introducing her?
Absolutely, ladies and gentlemen.
Surprise.
No introduction necessary, okay? This producer goes above and beyond week in, week out, even when she is not here, helping with questions like how much of a dick is TowManG, helping with things in the background, helping with a wonderful game that we're going to play this week. I give you producer Sarah.
So you should have done that before you brought her on.
No, it's more fun this way. I like to see the look of surprise on her face when she sees she's on the screen.
Like a deer at headlights?
I was making notes too, so all of a sudden I'm making notes and I'm like, oh, hey, hi guys.
Oh, he's talking to me. I'm here. Oh shit, here we go. So after last week, I shouldn't say yesterday because it was about a week ago now. Canada Day celebration, 4th of July weekend. We played a little game of Name That Flag with TowManG.
I almost cut it out.
So happy you didn't. Where we went through all the Canadian provinces except for one to see if G could name the flags. And he went, I want to say you were 50%, if that. I think it was pretty close to 50%. We'd have to go back and check the tape. So he just wants to forget it ever happened.
Yeah.
So we have asked producer Sarah to come up with, in the fairness, since we did the Canadian flags, and for the love of God, I don't even know how many states there is, but we're not doing all 50 or 52 states. I cannot remember what it is. So we have asked producer Sarah to put together 5 flags that we will attempt, state flags that we will attempt to guess what they are. I feel like things could go ugly fast, and I feel like we may hurt some feelings.
When was the last time you were even in the States?
Pre-COVID. I've only been to like one of them.
I went when I was in Air Cadets back when I was in public school, so grade 8. I went twice on a bus tour to Washington, D.C.
Oh, you've been down there. So you're almost like an American citizen.
Pretty much, I guess. I've been to the Canadian border and looked across at the US of A.
At the wasteland that we call. See all that over there, son? You don't want to go there.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm kidding. There's all kinds of good times. I thank all of our American listeners, and I hope we offend none of you with our terrible guesses at your state flags. I may laugh at one or two of them.
Let's you bring it in.
I'll bring it in.
Okay, so this one's probably going to be the only one that we both know.
This is a chance of being the only one that we both know.
I started easy for you guys.
Absolutely. I'm not even gonna beat around it. There's nothing funny to make about this flag. Yeah, it is Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, including the 1 star on the flag.
Yeah. It just screams Texas.
It just screams Texas. Sarah, is that fairly safe to say? It is correct. Texas.
It is Texas.
Now, Sarah, you are an honorary Canadian. Or you're an official Canadian.
I'm an official Canadian.
I forgot it. My bad. Are you actually, because you're going for your citizenship currently?
Yeah, I'm like 5 or 6 years away from it. I don't even have a green card yet. I'm a registered alien.
Wait, you're not green. I thought aliens were supposed to be green.
No, I don't get green until I get my green card.
That's actually what they call it, though, is a registered alien?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I have a document. Like, I have a little ID card and everything. Also, I had to take I had to take my driver's license down here, by the way. I was so nervous. I haven't taken a driver's test in 20 years. They pretty much just put me in the car, got me to drive around the block, and they're like, you're in.
Wow. Wow, that kind of sounds like the Ontario driving lesson right now.
Really? In BC, it's terrible. Oh, you fail like 3 times minimum.
Really? Well, either you guys have worse drivers in BC, which I'm not going to get into that one, or it's just that, they are stricter because you guys have a lot worse terrain, right?
Yeah,
Toronto
that's
doesn't have terrain. Ontario doesn't have, until you get farther north in Ontario, much terrain. So maybe that's for the best.
Maybe.
Well,
Are you
even
guys
the
ready for the
driving
next
courses
one?
where I went, it was in like a town when you had to do your highway driving. And everyone who was a bad driver went to like 8 towns over where there was no highway and the test was a lot easier. And if you failed there, you really shouldn't be driving.
Yeah, I grew up in that town. Our town is that we get people from all over that come because it's much easier to do here than it would be in, let's say, Toronto, Ottawa, any of the big cities. Oh, Jesus.
And God we trust.
In God we trust. There's justice, wisdom, and moderation. Ooh, the moderation is interesting. I feel like it's got to be northern, but the colors scream southern. There's a lot of stars in a circle. It's like a Latvian flag that they just overlaid this blue square over the corner. Where is there a lot of Latvian people in the US?
I think you're barking up the wrong tree.
I'm trying.
What depth?
Like literally, they just took it and put it over the corner and went, see these stars with these pillars? We're just going to throw this over this country's flag.
What interests me is you say it's a northern flag. And as an honorary southerner now, I'm like, this is not northern.
Well, the stars tell me it's not. I feel like the stars, the patriotic side to it is more southern. I was more making a joke that there's no moderation in the South.
13 stars, which represents the 13 southern states.
Oh, really? Oh,
wow, you're on the right track. That's nice.
Well, I had to sit here and count. I just made it full screen so I can zoom right in. I can't pinch, so I had to zoom in. And
okay, G, name the 13 southern states. I got like Louisiana. Then I'm lost. I hope that's one of them. I'm gonna say, for argument's sake, Kentucky. I don't even know if that makes sense, but I'm going with Kentucky.
Come on, TowManG, what do you got?
Kansas.
You're both wrong. I thought this would be easy. Where do I live?
Georgia. Oh. I don't know what I thought. I thought Georgia was the red and white X one.
It used to be. They had to change
it. Son of a... Okay. When did they change it?
2003, I think.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. See, I forgot it. That's why. I knew the right answer.
You guys, I think you get half a point for that. You both get half a point because of the 13 stars.
I didn't get the 13 stars. I deserve no points. Okay. I seen this flag when I was looking up U.S. flags, state flags with no names. So I have no idea where it's from. But holy shit. We just decided we were going to put red and blue lines everywhere.
Yeah, it looks like a bit of Russian, bit of British with the Union Jack.
Yeah.
I was surprised to see the Union Jack on an American flag. With the 4th of July just happening, I thought they hated Britain. So I know.
1712 was a bad year for them, wasn't it?
1776.
That's it. This is why we need you, the honorary American, to help us out.
Man, is there something? Wait, I'm gonna count the lines. He counted the stars and he got something. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I don't know if that's gonna help.
7. The 8 color stripes to represent the 8 different tribes that originally lived on the land. Am I right? I'm probably wrong and culturally appropriating somebody. Jesus. The Union Jack. Okay, if the Union Jack was there, it was the British.
I'm assuming it's on the East Coast.
That's what I was thinking. I'm gonna say Massachusetts.
Oh, you're very cold.
Oh, the British came in from the West.
This one was a shocker. You're not gonna believe this.
Hawaii.
Hawaii. What? Isn't that crazy?
What? I would have expected not anything like that.
No.
I really don't want to get in the history of things, but Sarah, maybe you can pop this up while we talk about the next one. When did Hawaii become a state? How late was it?
It was quite late. It's the
Oh, is it
last
because they
state,
were
I
still a
believe.
British? Were they ever a British colony? Is that why the Union Jack would still
Yes, it had something
Yeah.
to do with them being a British port.
Yeah, okay. That actually
And
starts to add up while you do that.
Of the
1959.
magic of editing, you get the answer right now.
That's crazy. 1959, it was admitted to the Union.
Okay, so that does explain the Union Jack in there then, and yeah, I was a little cold. It was a little north.
We're both cold.
Yeah, we were both. Yeah, we were both in the same area.
But Hawaii is not. All right, how about this one?
Kenya. That's not a state. What the heck is this thing? If you are from any of these states, I apologize if I have made fun of your flag. This one, though, I mean...
Yeah, but I've lived in Georgia for a year and a half, and it was today that I learned what the Georgia flag looked like. So,
okay.
How many people living in these states actually know what their flag looks like?
That is true. It's a good time to go, find your knowledge, check what your state flag is. But I'm okay. I'm at oof. This is much.
I know California's flag's yellow, so I'm gonna go with California.
And California's flag actually says California on it. That's why I couldn't use California.
Fair enough.
It's not California. Can we do like hockey logos next
You're
time?
in the right region, though. Oh, hockey logos. Let's do that next time.
Oh boy, there's the
No, that's biased to me. I don't watch sports.
Yeah, he does watch sports. I am gonna say it's gonna be weird, but I'm gonna go with Arizona. I know we talked hockey, which probably like what Arizona does have a hockey.
That is so close. That is so
Is
close.
it?
You're
What
in
is
the
it?
right area. It's New Mexico.
New Mexico. I honestly took. I don't know what the proper word to do this is like First Nation tribal logo from this, and that's why I'm thinking Arizona.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? The New Mexico area, that would kind of make sense. I guess that's what I thought of when I seen this logo. So pretty close, not quite there.
Okay, the last one, I think you guys can use your deductive reasoning to figure this
Ooh,
one out.
okay, I'm in. You'd be surprised how stupid we actually are. What is that? Oh, I know it. I think I know it. Gee,
Well, you got the Big Dipper. Or is that the Little Dipper?
It's a star pattern. I don't know if it's the Big or the Little Dipper. It's a dipper.
It's a dipper.
And I'm going to guess a North Star, which is the big star at the top, which would lead me to believe that would be Alaska.
Correct. Way to go.
It makes sense. Once you're right, the deductive reasoning, the stars, the big North Star, the only state that's very north would be Alaska.
My guess would have been Alaska, too.
Oh, sure it was. You're sitting there going, it's California. And she's like, I already said it's not California.
I can only name the states that I know the names of,
Oh, we'll try and name states one day. That'll be a bad time. Place them on a map. We had a hard time remembering how many provinces there were in Canada. Imagine trying to figure out how many states there are and where they are.
Yeah.
Was
that it? Was that 5?
That's it. That was 5.
We did the 5. We can touch back at those at one point because I absolutely believe there's more flags we can have some fun with. We did not get any right. What is that noise?
We still have 45 states. Yeah, that's my dogs.
Okay, so there's 50 states.
Yes.
I thought there was 52. Why did I think there was 52?
Because there's 52 weeks in a year.
Because I'm uneducated. Because there's what?
Alaska
52 weeks in a year. Oh.
No, gee,
we both have different answers.
And there's only 50. You can't just say because of Alaska and Hawaii. No, they are in the 50.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, we are geographically challenged and it shows. So we will go back to sticking what we are good at, and that is towing. And even that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, we're mediocre at that at best. We don't like to toot our own horns here, if you haven't noticed.
No, absolutely. It's, I stick to what my strengths are, and they're few and far between.
Also, I do just want to apologize to our audio listeners for that whole segment.
Why? Oh yeah, because they couldn't see the flags. I described them. The towing life is not friendly to the visually impaired or listening on the audio side. That being said, if you want to see all the fun and what we were referring to, you can head on over to the YouTube channel. Be sure to hit a like, leave a comment while you are there. And if you don't like it, hit the thumbs down twice. So, G, that being said, let's get back into the stuff we were good at. You did want to talk customers.
Yes.
We've talked about bad customers. We've talked about what do you do when they're bad customers, whether they stink, they're loud, they're obnoxious, whatever the hell they are. Let's talk about good customers.
Well, I wanted to I really wanted to bring up this topic because I had a customer yesterday who I had to tell to keep his sandals on in the back seat, which was just weird. Anyways, but today I had this wonderful gentleman. I picked up his F-350 and we started going. And I'm into farming and agriculture stuff. And we started talking about fertilizer prices and tractors. Turns out this guy's got the same year and model tractor I got. It's a 1965 Massey 35 diesel. He's got the exact same one. So we're talking about all that kind of stuff. And I was telling him that I was looking at a Massey 135, a 67 Massey 135. And he's actually got one with the same motor that I was looking at. I know I'm boring you to sleep over here, but it was just so cool. And I was actually able to have a ride with him for just over an hour, and just the conversation never stopped. And it was just a nice, I don't know, it was just a nice experience meeting people that I have so much stuff in common with, even though he's in his, I want to say 60s and I'm in my 20s. We were able to have a full-on conversation, and I'm a pretty good conversation haver. I'm normally pretty good at finding common ground. I find like a lot of towers are good with that, especially if you take passengers a lot. You're always good at finding common ground and things that you can agree on. And it was just so nice to really get that again, because with the COVID and the no passenger thing, it's always been a lot of, oh, well, sorry, I can't take you, or put them in the back seat. And I just had a bunch of stuff in my back seat, so I put them up front. And it was actually really nice to have a good conversation with a complete stranger. And at the end, walking away as pals, I guess you could say.
Oh, that is good. It's awesome whenever you can find, with all the people that we tell, the random people, to have something in common like that. I'm so glad that you found him to talk about that, because I swear if you had to talk to me about it, and that, but no, when you do come across that for one person that has that stuff in common with you, it is phenomenal like that. And what are the chances the exact same tractor? There couldn't have been many produced.
I don't know the actual numbers of them, but there was actually a lot of them produced. They're a smaller size tractor, and a lot of people had them, especially back in the day after the war, build new houses after the war on a bit of property. It was a very common tractor to have, especially over in Europe too. They're big over in Europe as well.
Absolutely. No, you know what? It's true. We tow so many bad customers. Not bad, but I mean, I've had rides,
Unpleasant.
Unpleasant. I had one the other day. This guy, towing him, and he goes, can my buddy come with us? It's like 3 a.m. when I picked him up, and I'm like, sure, I got 2 spots. I was in the flatbed, unfortunately. And he, 5 minutes into the ride, the customer, the main guy I was speaking with, is asleep. Yeah. And his buddy looks over at me and he goes, speak Spanish? And I'm like, no, unfortunately, I do not. And that was the quietest hour-and-a-half ride I've ever had, because there's nothing to, there's no conversation to be had if you don't speak the same language. That being said, mine was just maybe a couple weeks ago. I got this weird call that was all over the place. So I get this call, pick this guy up on the highway. He wants to go to Montreal. Cool. It's hour and a half, hour and 45-minute ride down there. We start heading down. I end up running into truck issues. I said, look, the truck, something's not right on the truck. We're going to limp it back to the yard. I'm going to switch you trucks, and we're going to continue on, because you need to get where you're going. We get to the yard to do the switch, and he goes, how much would it be to go to Toronto? And keep in mind, this is like 8, 9 o'clock at night. Yeah. And I'm like, no.
Your 4-hour round trip just might turn into a 10.5-hour round trip.
Pretty much. And so, I was reasonable. I gave him a fair price. I didn't up it because I didn't want to go by any means. I think there was a little surcharge on it, but not, And he goes, you know what? Let's go to Toronto. And I'm like, oh. So this gentleman, one of the nicest guys I ever met, he was about my age too, which made it great. Yeah. And he was Muslim. And I am a person that I am very culturally unaware of a lot of things. I'm not educated, but I love to learn about it.
Yep.
I love to hear the differences. I love to hear how people live differently. And, just even if I don't understand it, try to understand it, which honestly in this world, sometimes I think we need a little more of that. So we got on this ride together and we were riding down the highway and we had the best conversation. We talked about all the things that people say you shouldn't talk about. We talked about politics. We talked about religion. We talked about arranged marriage. We talked about family situations on how everything works. The saying, goddamn white people and goddamn brown people, as we're laughing away on this 5-hour ride, came out more than 100 times.
Yeah.
Right. And it is just those wholesome conversations. This gentleman actually called my dispatcher, poor dispatcher, at about whatever time it was, 5 a.m. to make sure I had made it back because I was driving through the night.
Wow.
He wanted to make sure that I made it back. He tried calling me first because he had my number from when I was trying to find him originally at the en route that he was at. And I didn't answer because at that point I was sleeping on the side of a highway somewhere because I could not do the round trip run. I knew where my limit was and I had to pull over.
Yeah.
This guy actually took the time to call, and it was one of the, and once you dropped it off, it was kind of one of those, well, that was a great time. We're never going to see each other for the most part ever again. Have a great life. Take care. And on your way and on to the next customer. And when you get those miserable customers, you get those grouchy ones. To get somebody like that you can have an honest, real world conversation that nobody got offended.
Yep.
I didn't get offended when he was sitting there saying how arranged marriages are so great. Do I agree with it? No. But I want to try and understand why you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And when you can have those serious conversations, and again, all the things we are told nowadays, especially with how divided of a world we are, not to talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about, sexual orientations, don't talk about all that stuff. To have that kind of moment, I think, is important. And it was hands down. I don't, he's never going to listen to the show. If you are, I wish I remembered his name. Thank you. It was one of the most memorable rides. It made half of that 10-hour round trip a good time.
Yeah. I early on, I actually got a motorcycle tow for a doctor, and I don't know what race he was. Doesn't really matter, but it was almost an hour-long tow, and we were talking about religion and politics and everything like that. And for a lot of the things that were said during that ride, we both had the same opinions and same views on a lot of things. And I told him like just how different I am in some aspects, and he told me the same. And it was actually really nice because in this industry, we tow all kinds of people, right? It doesn't matter who you are, how much money you got. If you got a vehicle, one point or another, it's going to break down, right? Yep. It's just nature of mechanics. And at that moment in time, he's a doctor and I'm helping him. Who knows? Right. Maybe in a year or two, I'm going to get sick and now he's going to be helping me, right? Yep. And it's actually really nice to be able to sit down and have conversations with some of these different people. Right. And learn how the other half works, or like the white collar to the blue collar, and different things like that. Different religions act differently and different cultures act differently. And it's actually really nice to see the other side of the fence. Right. Is the grass really greener on the other side? Right. And just those heart to heart conversations, because I don't know what it is, but when people are in bad situations, they always seem to open up to a tow truck driver. If you've got that face.
We're the cheap therapists.
Yeah, really cheap. As long as you're paying the bill, I don't care what you talk about.
Yeah, exactly. You'll know when I get bored when I turn the radio up, or you'll know you get offensive when I start turning the radio up. But it is true. And you have to adapt to your customer.
Mm-hmm.
That is the one thing that I have learned over the years is that, we talk about, when you're with a customer, do you use foul language? Depends on the customer.
I always, if it slips out, I always say, oh, pardon my language, or excuse me, sorry about that. Sorry about my language. And then if I hear them starting to swear, then I'll start swear as well.
That's it. You adapt to your customer. It is so important. We want to talk about customer service. It is not just about, obviously, you need to provide the best service, meaning, the vehicle wise is safe, secure, loaded, proper. Thank you. You're welcome. All that good stuff. But relating to these customers on some of these longer trips can make that experience for them. Imagine them having that bad time on the side of the highway. This guy trying to get home, and it's now 1:00 in the morning and he's riding in a tow truck.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Same thing for him. That 5-hour ride that he's probably been waiting a couple hours on the side of the road, whatever it is, has now turned into a great experience, hopefully on his part. I hope he shared the same review of that conversation that I
this
had.
is kind of one-sided review here.
Fair enough. But no, it turns that ride into something for them. But it is right. You adapt to your customer, right? It's the same with the curse words, with the whatever. You can tell right away that there is customers that I am not getting into politics with.
Yeah.
I am not going to even think of touching religion with, because you don't need, hey, that is a rough way to bring up if you're going to be in a 5-hour truck ride with somebody to find out that you picked the wrong thing to talk about. So whenever you can, and whenever you can find that, and when you can adapt to your customer, it is super important. And it makes I think it adds to the overall customer service experience.
Oh,
personally.
yeah, for sure. If you can make what some people seem as like their worst days of their life, and you can make them laugh in the tow truck and actually have a good conversation and get their mind off of that car. Like, I've got a backup camera in my tow truck, and a lot of times I'll just click that, make sure my bungee cord for my safety chains hasn't fallen off or anything like that. And I always make the joke, especially if they're a cash customer, is like, if that car is not there by the time we get to the destination, the tow is free.
I taught you that.
I think you did. You taught me that, and I use it all the time. And it always gets a laugh, and it normally starts the conversation going, "Oh, have you ever lost a car off the back of the truck before?" And that just gets
like,
the ball rolling all the time. If it happens one more time, the boss just tells me to park the truck and never come back again, which normally gets a pretty good look on their face.
Oh, absolutely. No, that line, yeah, with the, I always see them peeking out of the mirror constantly when you're going down the road. They're looking at the mirror to see if their car's still there. And that's where you can pick that spot. Yeah, and absolutely go. You know what I mean? Trust me, if that car's not there when we get there, it's on us. Don't worry. I won't charge you for the tow. But no, it is true. You have fun with customers. You try and laugh. Now, again, it's depending on the ride. My favorite is when you're backing into somewhere and they're sticking their heads in the mirrors.
Yep.
And I'm like, who needs those mirrors more than you do? This guy.
Yeah.
So, like, can you maybe? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I know. Trust me, you're not the first person to do it, and you will not be the last. But if you can make them laugh and you can make them have a little fun with that, I always ask, "Hey, how's your day going?" Ooh, bad question. And they get little kicks out of stuff like that. Have a good day. I mean, better day.
Yeah.
All those things can really make a difference.
For me, it's always coming to find common ground with someone. You always want to find a little bit of common ground. And what do you guys have in common? Well, that car on the back of my truck. I always start off the conversations like, "Oh, how long have you had the car? Have you had any other problems with it?" If they have, you normally throw in, "Oh yeah, it's a turboed Kia. Yeah, those things eat motors pretty good." Like, just something like that.
That's a good thing to remind them. I don't know what's wrong with it. Don't worry, they eat motors. It's probably your motor. The common ground is that you both are having a bad day now.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to find something to come together on, which is normally stems from the car, right? Or if you see that they're wearing a hockey jersey or something, and that's a team, that's a pretty good thing to start talking about, right? If you're looking for a conversation, if you just want them to sit in the back seat and shut the hell up and just let you drive, that's fine too. But make sure that they, or say, "What kind of music do you like listening to?" I used to do that a lot, right? I don't do it so much now because
you don't give them a choice anymore.
No.
But no, it is true. It's, finding common ground to fill that gap, to just relate to that customer and have fun. You'll see that it normally leads to higher tips.
Yeah.
It'll lead to better customer reviews,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be through social media and all that. Because don't forget, towers, and we've talked about it a million times, have this weird stereotype about us. That we are, and it's slowly, I would like to say it's slowly going away.
Mm-hmm.
I know that we are seeing it more and more and more, where customers are less like, we still get the odd snobs from the city that really stick their nose up, right? And, they get out of their fancy Tesla and they're like, who are you? But for the most part, I'm sorry to shit on Tesla owners. I want one, for the record, so I'm allowed. But no, it is, they're starting to respect the industry a little bit more. That in our area, at least outside of these bigger cities, we're starting to see it. So it does help even with conversation, but you will get better reviews. You'll get better tips. It's just a better overall experience. And you know what? Hell, as an operator, you'll probably have more fun.
Yeah.
Right. And instead of just sitting there quietly for a 30-minute ride, chat them up. Now, it's not like we're Uber where people are like, ooh, I'm busy. Don't talk to me. I got to be, I got to send this work email. I'm calling you because I don't want to drive myself because I can be productive. That's not what the situation is, right? A lot of times they have questions.
Yeah.
Hey, have you seen that TV show?
That's a big one.
Yeah, 100%. It's
and
such a
people
question.
are interested about us in the industry because the TV shows have been so successful, right? Like
100%.
they have been dramatized a little bit, but people are interested in towing and what we do and talk about it. Let them know, like, yeah, the hours are shit, and don't make them pity you because that's not something that you want.
Well, that's
Just let them know what goes on in your job, right? And then I normally always say, oh, what do you do for work, and what's some of the different things you got to do depending on their job, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, people are willing to talk, especially if they're having a bad situation. What else do they have at that time, right?
I always get that we won't say the company names, but we both work for company names that are named after a person.
Yeah.
How often do you get, are you blank?
Yeah. Hey, Rob. I'm not Rob. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, no, if I was, I'd have, less hours and more money.
Yeah.
I
don't want to be Rob.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy.
No.
That guy's got too much responsibility. I'm happy being this guy.
Yeah.
But no, you see that all the time. Hey, are you blank? No, I'm not.
And it does take all kinds. I'm not saying every customer you're going to chat up. Like I changed the tire for this lady the other day, and I get there and I said, so you're going to want to go get the tire changed and or retorqued within 100 kilometers, try to avoid the highway. And they're like, well, you're from a roadside. You're going to be putting the tire on properly. Why do I got to go get it retorqued? What's a retorque? I was like, well, you got to get your tires retorqued regardless. And well, is it a full size? Yes, it's a full size, but I'm not a licensed mechanic, so it's always best to go get someone to check.
Well, even if they are, garages want you to get it retorqued. They are mechanics and licensed tires and everything else.
I said to her, I was like, well, where do you got to go? Well, I got to go to the city. I was like, okay, well, on your way back, because you can't get your tire for a couple days, get it torqued at the local shop or see if you can get it torqued down there. Oh, well, I'll just drive to the shop right now. It's like, well, the shop's 10 kilometers away. That's a little counterproductive, but it's your car. Do what you want to do. And she got really ignorant. Right? She seemed to think that she was better than me, which she may be. Who knows? I don't know what she did.
I think the odds are pretty high.
Yeah, pretty much. But I had to take the bike rack out of her trailer hitch to get the tire out of her Tacoma, and she's freaking out because, are you going to put that thing back in? Well, yeah, I just got to figure out how to take it off because there's no pin on this side. And turns out it actually screwed into the hitch somehow, which is just weird, but it is what it is. Okay. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
I had a lady the other day. We were busy. We were nonstop. We've been nonstop. And this lady was safely in a McDonald's parking lot with a flat tire. So, needless to say, with having a major highway near us, she was lower on the priority list, right? Because she had a safe place. It wasn't too hot out that day. There was no, you know what I mean, thing that would raise her priority level. Mm-hmm. And so I finally showed up. It was maybe an hour and a half, maybe at max.
Yep.
From the time we received the call. And as soon as I pulled up, she got on me. She had hit a curb and bent the rim and had the tire flat. Yep. So as soon as I get there, she's like, well, I'm not sure if I'm happy with this roadside. I'm like, pardon? And she's like, well, I had, this other roadside for years, and they would have been maximum 25 minutes. Jokes on her. We do both roadsides. We're the provider for both roadsides. It would have been the same amount of time no matter what roadside she called.
Yeah.
So anyways, you could tell she's in a mood right from the start. Mm-hmm. I want you to change my tire. Okay. Ma'am, honestly, with how hard you hit the curb, and I don't really want to change a tire, maybe we should have it towed over to the garage to have them take a look. Like they're open right now and all that. Everything's good. No, my son said, just change the tire and I'll be on my way. Mm-hmm. Okay. It was what was it? A month. And it was a minivan with the tire under the back. Mm-hmm. And I look at this thing and it hasn't come down in a long time. Yeah. And I'm like, ma'am, have you ever dropped the tire? No. Okay, there's a good chance I'm going to warn you now. I'll do my best, but there's a good chance it ain't coming down. Yeah. And she goes, well, the guy who owned the van before me had it greased every year, like oil sprayed every year. Mm-hmm. Okay. It looks like you've owned it for about 10 years and never have, but okay. Lower the tire. The spring's all busted anyways. Get the spare tire off. I pounded about 3 pounds of rust out of this thing.
Yeah.
and it's flat. So no problem. I put the tire on, and as I put the tire on, as I'm tightening everything up, I got the compressor going on it.
Yeah.
She goes to me, well, is that going to be okay to get to the garage? I'm sitting there going, I didn't want to change it in the first place. I would have towed you to the garage.
Yeah.
It seems to be holding air. It seems to be all right. How far can I go? I'm not going to tell you that. To the next nearest location to get it fixed. Well, I'm going to the garage right now. Then why didn't I just tow you?
Yeah.
You were covered.
Yeah.
It would have been less time, less work, and less headaches.
Mm-hmm.
But you knew better than me. And you came in with a tone. So I just, thank you, ma'am. Have a great day.
Yeah.
And walked away and was just shaking your head going, I hope to God. And then she has the nerve to walk up to me. You tightened it, right? As I'm putting stuff back away. So, yes, ma'am, I tightened it.
Yeah. No, I loosened it off just for you.
I thought about it. Trust me.
It's always funny. You get those customers. I had the same guy who I had to tell to put his sandals back on in my back seat. I got there. He's probably been waiting for an hour and a half, 2 hours. And he gets there and he's like, it's been 2 hours. It's like, I'm sorry, man. Everyone's just wanting to go far today. And whereabouts are you going? Oh, well, I'm going down to, it was the other side of Etobicoke, which is like an hour and 45 minutes. It's like, everyone wants to go far. Doing this tow is going to take me out of town for almost 4 hours. I could have came to you after I did another long tow.
Yeah.
Right? People don't understand the time it takes. They just think that roadsides have thousands of trucks sitting around and the roadside has all these trucks, and most of these roadsides don't actually own their trucks, and they just subcontract out to whatever company they can.
Yeah, 100%. So remember to be courteous. If you are a tow truck operator and you want to, increase the experience, remember, always be courteous when these people are grouchy. Enjoy the good customers you have. And if you're looking for topics to start talking with your customers, talk about their vehicle. Do not get into religion. Do not get into...
Let them bring that up.
Let them bring that up, and then just lean with it, because it's going to make an awkward ride even more awkward if you guys are on separate pages. Mm-hmm. So that being said, I think we are going to bring back, Sarah is back with the show. Hi, Sarah, you're back.
Hi, that was a great conversation.
Thanks. I think so. I think that was fun.
I always forget that you're just sitting in the background.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. We've already put a clip aside that says, you're a great conversation haver. That is going to be on the clip for next week, ladies and gentlemen. TowManG, the conversation haver. So Sarah, you have, speaking of all these ways that we can connect with customers and everything else, you have a we're going to call it a how much of a dick is TowManG, a moral dilemma, so to speak, for the two of us. Before we do get into that, for innovative products such as the container link tanker tube frame hook, patented 8-point die down, and now the air bar, BA Products is always developing products to better assist towers today and for tomorrow. So reach out to one of our BA distributors today and see how they can help elevate your towing and recovery procedures. I have said it before and I will say it again. If you don't have a piece of BA equipment on your truck, get out of here. Head over to BA Products, BA Prod, that's BAPROD.com today to find one of their vendors and look at the catalog. It is like a kid in a candy store. You will want everything. Well, I will take one of each. I legitimately could. I've gone through their magazine, their catalog multiple times, and I will take one of each. BA, if you were listening, A, thank you for sponsoring the podcast. We appreciate it. And 2, I will take one of everything. Please send it on over.
Me too, please. Double that.
Sarah's like, I'm in too. I want one. Sorry, want the BA
I want what they want.
I'll hang the J hooks up in my living room. Hang plants off of them or something.
Everything but the ball dog, I will take one of.
I'll even take a new ball dog. I'll take his. I'll get 2.
So we will get into a wonderful episode of How Much of a Show is TowManG. I'm PlainGuy. I got to manually throw that in since we have not yet created a new video or intro for the topic. So Sarah, when you are ready, what do you got?
All right. So dispatch gets a call for a tow nearly an hour away. It's a long weekend and a busy day. Everyone has somewhere to go, somewhere to be, but you get there as fast as you can, only to find that when you get there, another tow company is hooking up the car. In the time it took you to get there, the customer called 3 different towing companies to see which one would get there faster. What do you do?
Ooh, gee, we've talked about this before. It is going way back into the archives.
Yeah.
It was one of our early episodes.
Yeah, it was Austin, actually. I had him as on a guest on the show. And he was in that situation. And what he did in that situation, I think, is what we should all do in that situation is you called me. I have a phone record of that. He got here first. And hopefully the guy who's hooking up that car will not leave until you get a GOA fee from that person. You called us. You wouldn't order 2 pizzas from 2 different companies and see which one got there first. You're paying for both pizzas. You're paying for both trucks.
Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, the situation that Austin had, so he wasn't the first truck, correct? He was
no.
Was the first,
they called 3 of the local towing companies, and all 3 trucks showed up. And the guy who got there first was hooking the car, and he stopped hooking everything up until the 2 other companies got a GOA fee or gone on.
He made the customers pay them. Before he would tow their vehicle. The company stood together in that situation.
Wow.
That nobody got left out. And that is easily the most honorable thing to do in that situation. That is amazing on what he did. My personal, in a solution like that, stop with today's technology and Visa debits and credit cards and everything else that's available out there. Get a credit card before leaving. Get a credit card before leaving. Pre-auth the card before leaving. You get there, you can't find, even if you get there an hour away, especially. I mean, if we're talking in town, cool. You know, I'm probably driving by it anyways. The town's not that big, but if I'm going an hour away, if I'm hooking up in my area and going an hour, different story. I have the vehicle. If I'm going an hour away to pick up the vehicle, there is a chance that I'm getting payment ahead of time because I don't know you. I'm going to get out there and you're gone. And you didn't have the decency to call me back. At least if I'm doing it through a roadside, the roadside's going to pay me. But if I'm doing it as a private call, I'm getting a credit card 100% ahead of time. And if you don't call me and I show up there, depending on what, like, you're getting the mileage out there. I mean, these trucks with the price of fuel nowadays do not run on hopes and dreams and false promises from customers. They run on diesel, and diesel's expensive. And so, I'm taking a credit card. I would say, as a good rule of thumb, I'm probably taking a credit card. Anything that's over, if you don't know the customer from dirt, they randomly found you on, let's say, Google or, a phone book, Lord forbid. I don't know. I'm probably saying over 50, 60, 60 kilometers, to 100 kilometers. So I don't know the conversion on that. I know it's up to 60 miles, but I don't know what the range is. I think that's fair. I actually, you know what? This is a great topic that I think we should put out to the listeners, whether on YouTube, whether on Spotify, whatever. What is your range? At what point is it far from a customer that you don't know? At what point are you asking for a credit card up front or electronic e-transfer or something, some sort of payment guarantee up front? What is the threshold for distance? Because there's got to be one. I want to hear, is it 100 miles? Is it, you know what I mean? At one point, where will you draw your limit before you are willing to go a certain distance without guarantee that a customer will be there and that payment can be arranged?
But our industry's always been like that. Like, even through insurance companies, I actually had my dispatcher come out and said, "Oh, well, the wreck that you did, they're fine with the hookup fee, they're fine with the mileage, they're fine with the $50 cleanup fee because you had to clean up the debris from 2 separate vehicles. The only thing they don't want to pay is the 10% fuel surcharge." I was like, well, the 10% fuel surcharge there. Do they just want me to incorporate that into my hookup fee? I could throw an extra $50 into it, which that's going to more than cover the $15 the fuel surcharge is. They're either going to pay it or the car's going to sit here. We got to figure out, we got to stand our ground. We've always been too much of a pushover, I find. And, you can just have that one for free. Or there's a line of being professional and courteous. And then there's a line of you're just not making any money.
I have questions.
What's that?
How much are your accident rates if you're charging $15 fuel surcharge? That means your accident rate's only $150 with cleanup and mileage.
Well, it was a $250 hook, which is just the standard wreck rate.
That's $25 worth of fuel surcharge. Continue.
I can't remember what the actual fuel surcharge was. I wasn't looking at the bill.
I know I'm a numbers guy. Okay, sorry, I had to.
It was less than $50 for the fuel surcharge, which. And with the amount of idling time sitting there at the scene, waiting for the police and the ambulance to leave and everything like that, like it takes a while. You burn a fair amount of fuel, and insurance companies, I'm sure they know, because when they get their retows and whatnot, they're paying more now too.
Yeah. Now the fuel surcharge is a whole other topic that has been all over the industry. You can't look anywhere on social media. But as for the customer that's an hour away, you are right. Fuel is one of the things that goes into it. But what's the limit? What's the limit? What's the value before? What value are you charging before? Mm-hmm. Right? If you're doing these tows that we talked about with that great customer that I had to Toronto, at what point are you getting prepayment? Do you trust that you're going to get to the other end? Now, mind you, I own the car until this guy pays. But I'm very much you can tell by the feel of somebody, if I have to worry about getting prepayment or not, a lot of times it's in your gut. But when you're talking to a customer on the phone that you were going to go an hour away, how far is too far without prepayment? That is the question I will leave all of you with this week, is how far is too far without prepayment? What do you think, Sarah? Do we answer your question?
You answered my question. I love the answer. I love the camaraderie in the towing industry that the initial tower stood his ground. Like that's really
it's
great.
It's not going to do any favors for him and that customer, guaranteed. But hopefully that customer will never do it again.
Hard lesson, but sometimes lessons need to be learned.
Yeah, hard but worthy lesson. Absolutely.
Sarah, do you want to do the honors and take us out this week?
Yes,
oh my
do
goodness.
it.
Come on.
Let's go.
I don't even know what to say other than see you in the dish. That's that Wreckmaster. Darn.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's
thank you, listeners, for being here, and it's been an honor doing the podcast. Just carry on.
You can do
all
it.
Right. Well, thanks, guys. It is an honor being your producer, and I love being a part of this. The towing industry is great, and there's always good conversations to have. So thanks, PlainGuy. Thanks, TowManG. You guys are both awesome, and we'll see listen, hear from all our listeners next week. Take care, guys. Bye.
Toodles. That was awesome.
Okay, great. I'll work on my ending.
Don't change a thing.
Perfect.
Do not change a thing.
No, it's great.
My room looks extra colorful today.